if you're here, you're eavesdropping on us because we're talking about joy. Lack of joy at work, or joy the leader. The leader lacked joy. No? Lack of joy at home.
You always start before I'm ready.
Da-da-da-da! This is Mary Pat. She's ready. I'm Cathy Fitz. We're eavesdropping. They're just eavesdropping, of course.
What? Okay, honestly, I've been ready. Let's go.
You've been ready. Well, go. We're talking about joy. Tell the audience we're talking about joy in this 4-part series.
Yeah, we were actually having a really wonderful conversation. We said, let's stop what we're going to do in eavesdropping on this so that we could just share what was going on. But we've each looked at aspects of joy, absence of it, and leaning into it, and actually accepting it. So it's interesting to think that joy is something you might not easily accept. So we were having a great conversation, and we decided we are going to capture it all and share it with you. So welcome to eavesdropping.
Yeah, and we're in our little new studio. This is actually where we sit and have these eavesdropping conversations for real. So we said, let's just set up the camera and do it. And I did start off right, I think. We were talking about the aspect of going to work and not having joy. What is joy? What's the expectations of joy? Joy in the relationships, joy in our social life, joy in our families, joy, 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 joy. Just kind of like that song, joy, 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 down in my heart. And so what it was. So the very first thing was we were talking about worry.
We're talking about worry, which is a joy blocker.
Is that what it is, the joy blocker?
I don't know. I just made it up. But it is for me, it's a joy blocker. Worry robs me of my desire to lean into joy. It just robs me of it.
Yeah, and I think we had, in all things, we both journal and kind of download wisdom together, and we had a lot of downloads about joy, which is what sparked this conversation. And one is that in all things there's lessons of love and lessons of fear and lessons of getting directions and lessons of what your heart truly, truly wants. And then we just said, what about the lesson of joy? And kind of heard, well, joy is really jumping, not over yearning. It was jumping over yearning.
We first said it was out of, but it's over.
Yeah, it's jumping over yearning. And that was kind of like, what does that mean, jumping over?
J-O-Y.
Jumping over yearning.
Jumping over yearning. Yes.
And it means that joy is not, this was interesting because we didn't quite understand it, but it says, joy is not experienced as a quest. And I was asking you about that. Does it make sense? Joy is the energy of all there is because the quest is joy.
And so we thought, wow, that seems a little contradictory, but as we dug into it a little bit, we thought the whole notion of joy being a quest, yet not a quest, just kind of the quest, but not a quest, is that we are so programmed, especially as leaders, we are so programmed for the result, for the outcome, for the end game, for what we're going to get, rather than the experience. And joy is an experience. It's not an end game. There's no end game around joy.
Because it's just an energy that is continually there, and so how do we tap into it?
Yeah.
You had a good insight. I have this whole note on my telephone called the Mary Pat-isms because she has such great things that I need to continually refer to in life, which is why you should be writing them down too. But you said, you don't quest, you yearn for joy. It's not a result. It's a state of being.
It's a state of being.
Mindfulness. Yeah. And when we're in mindfulness... we cannot worry. So a lot of people probably don't know what mindfulness is. The ability to be present.
Yeah, the clearing of the chatter.
Yeah, and not being able to future trip, not being able to be in yesterday's history. It's just being present. Yeah, I always say, when I'm teaching or mentoring CEOs or leaders or whatever, high performers, it's the snow globe. We walk around with a snow globe that we're constantly shaking because we have so many things in our life. And so we can't be mindful of everything in the snow globe while all the snow is, swirling around. So we need to just kind of be quiet in the present moment. How do you get to the present moment?
Breathing. And then, we also, we've talked about this before, I will sometimes use the binaural beats. So I'll have the binaural beats going, which kind of, I don't know what it does to your brain. It kind of rewires your
It's the
brain a
crystals.
little
You got
bit.
crystals in each ear, and your energy, obviously. And some of you could look under binaural beats or binary beats or
It's
rife frequencies.
yeah, binaural is what
Yeah.
binaural beats. Yeah,
And that just kind of calms you down. You could probably lay on a grounding sheet too.
Yeah.
They're saying that as well. So it's just, we're made of energy and electricity. And so that's what that is. And when we're taking in all this energy from the outside, especially someone like me who's got lots of extra sensories and taking it all in, I've got to calm it down. And that's when I'm mindful of the present moment. Because otherwise I can't see what's going on. And it's just, there's a wall, there's the outside, hills and grass and prairies, and here's this. And it's not necessarily the floating, I got a meeting tomorrow.
Well, here's the thing, and so I actually have...
That's the worry.
That is it's the worry and the distraction, and it's kind of that monkey mind, what they call the monkey mind, where it just starts taking over.
I call mine the itty bitty shitty committee.
Itty bitty shitty committee, right? I actually was really lucky to have been initiated into a type of transcendental meditation. It's called Sahaj Samadhi, and it's a focus on a particular word. So it's like a chanting word. Like you might traditionally hear Om as being a chanting word. Normally adults don't get that word as their word. But the way to get to mindfulness through that technique is to focus on the word, which could be if you are biblical, it could be a Bible verse. Peace, be still, could be a really good one. Amen, Mother Mary, whatever. Something that you focus on the word, and as you focus on the word, you go deeper and deeper and deeper into your own mindfulness until you become one with the word.
Oh, okay. I always wondered what that Om was. Om. I just breathe and just. I guess my thing is, if you're an audio decoder, our brains decode audio, visual, or kinesthetic, it would be a word. I'm also visual, so I'm kind of visualizing settling that snow globe down. So when we get to mindfulness, that's when we let go of the worry. And the worry is really the itty bitty shitty committee, or the muck in life, as I write about in our books. And by the way, make sure you subscribe to this, because this is going to be a series on joy, on Two Chicks That Spark the Heart. We're the two chicks. Click below and subscribe, and you'll get all of the series, a notification of it, and as well as the series that we've done in the past. But back to the itty bitty shitty committee, that worry, that monkey mind, which we all have, also known as our egoic self, the trickster. It's the thing that builds us up in a good way. We have good ego. And it's also the thing that tears us down and says you can't stay there. And that's where we get stuck into this worry. And when we're in worry, we're not doing what we both kind of journaled about at the same time, in joy. We're not tapping into.
Not tapping into. Yes, and I think it's an illusion. And that's where the trickster comes in. The trickster is great at creating illusions. So, knowing that the ego or the itty bitty shitty committee is there creating illusions for you, that there's something you think you can control.
Yeah, you can't.
And you can't, because it's actually not of you. Generally, the worry, well, sometimes you worry about yourself. The worry is generally for a situation that you don't prefer, or a situation that you think is not going to turn out well. And it is a trickster, because you're not in that situation. That's in the future.
Yeah, but what do you do? I'm sure everybody out there in eavesdropping land is wondering, what do you do when there's really something to worry about? You got the news, you're going to wait for the cancer report from the doctor, you just broke up with someone, your kid just got in a car accident. I mean, there's a gazillion things that are really reason to worry. And so it's an emotion that we have to pay attention to. I don't think we're saying shut it down. We're probably saying more observe it.
I would say observe it, but you know what? I think you're right. I mean, if something takes and grabs you by the throat, I'm sick. Oh my gosh, I have to worry about that. But I think what happens is when we focus in on the worry around it, then we activate more of the same.
Oh yeah, we attach to it. Yeah. And that goes back to, I always thought, and I don't know who taught me this. One of the experts that had mentored me over the years, but I am like an electrical tower. And I'm always giving out vibrations of my electrical energy, which is why those crystals are in our ears. And if I am giving out the worry electricity, as Einstein says, it's going to bring something right back to me, because that's what it's going to go out and seek. And so the key to getting back to that joy vibration, which isn't a quest, it's always there. You just have to like tap into joy and love, is to be able to stop yourself.
Well, yeah, and I think
before you attach.
Think about everyone go do some research on how people have either cured themselves or felt or dealt with a very serious thing going on in their life. And generally, anything that I've ever noticed is somebody attaches to something else that's joyful. So
Right.
somebody who's ill tends to their rose garden and finds joy in the roses. Or
That would not be me.
that wouldn't be you. We're looking out the window right now.
The deadly rose garden out there.
Or they
or music, or song,
or cooking,
or dance, or cooking,
or
yeah.
prayer.
And we were talking about that. And if you can't do any of that, then just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because when you nap and you sleep, you're settling down the conscious mind, which is picking up all the information from everything that you're sensing. And if you're highly sensory, individual yourself or empathic, you kind of settle that down too. It is interesting that worry, though, just like muck, as I always talk about, teaches us. Because if we can get to know these egoic energies of muck, worry, dissatisfaction, and paralyzed, whatever it is that we put the word to it, and we spend more time observing, once we feel it, more time observing, that's advancing the awareness and the awakening. We can choose, I don't want to worry, because what is it going to get me? More worry, more things to worry about, more things to worry about. Yeah, I was talking about the 3 things in the morning. That's what sparked it too. Me waking up, and all of a sudden I go to the mailbox, I open up this letter, and it's like, oh, and I open up this letter, and it's like another, oh. And by the 3rd letter, I was like, really almost there to attach. And then I stepped back and observed it and said, do I want to have a whole day like this?
Yeah. I think actually worry, I was writing about this too, is worry fools you into believing that worry, that the energy of worry will change something. And a lot of times it won't. I mean, worry. So I was doing a coaching with a client who was in a worry cycle, and she's Christian. So I said, go to your Bible. Go to the Bible and read, and you will see how many times you are taught not to worry, not to worry. Please don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Because it's that illusion that the worry is going to create the better outcome, and it's truly an illusion. Worrying has never, ever created a better outcome.
No, but it probably does release that dopamine. Because, when we're worrying, our cortisol is going up. That's the stress chemical, and then the cortisol gets so high that your brain says, I got to release some dopamine, and that's the feel good. So it does feel good at a moment to worry, just like it sometimes probably feels good to punch a wall or to scream or shout or whatever, have the eternal struggle, except that comes down and then you're right back into it, and you probably got some more curriculum.
But then I thought, as we were talking, so curriculum, speaking of curriculum, as I was thinking about this, when I worry, because, I come from a long line of warriors, and I had a mother-in-law who was a warrior, so I have more examples of it. So worry, and I have 3 adult children, so there's a lot to worry about. Come on.
Right.
So thank God I'm healthy, so I'm
the
not all
mommy
worried
muscle,
about
the mommy muscle.
However, the worry, what I realized, it just can also serve to activate something in me that's unhealed. So if I worry, so like we had my son's girlfriend was coming in to the U.S. I think for the first time. I worried, was she going to get off the plane okay? And I'm like, what? It's so ridiculous. Why would I worry about that? And I had to ask, with this understanding of what's being activated in me, how many times did I have fear that I was either not going to be picked up, or that we were going to be late to something that was important, which happened a lot in my family, or that I was going to let someone down, or I was going to get lost. And I had to go back, and I had a couple childhood instances where, like, I got lost in the wood as a Girl Scout.
Yeah,
it's
me too.
Really?
Not with the Girl Scout, but lost in the woods. Yeah,
freak out.
It was a freak out.
When I think about that, it activates something in me, and I'm like, oh, that could be. So part of it is an opportunity if you're worried about, I'll talk about me, if I am worried about something that is out of my control, which mostly it all is.
Yeah, right.
Then I got to look to myself to say, yeah, what's going on inside of you that you want to attach to this worry? Is there something that needs to be looked at or healed?
Right, and so it becomes just like I say in my heartbeat books, bless the muck.
Bless the muck.
Bless the muck.
Yep.
It's just that you have to be, in order to advance your awareness as a leader, high performer, role model, anyone who wants to just elevate who they are, you have to observe before you could advance the awareness. And what we're talking about is in order to keep joy, which isn't the quest for joy, it's always there, joy and love.
Right.
Worry is one thing that's going to come in and hijack it. And so when it comes in and you feel it, honor it, and then kind of like put it in front and say, do I really want to attach to you? And you know what? Maybe, because
maybe for a moment I could be worried that the plane wasn't going to land.
You know, in the words of Stephanie Shipper that taught me, time trap it then.
Yes.
I'm going to worry for 30 minutes. Continually. And worry. I'm going to write it all down. In fact, that's the 5-block exercise that I teach leaders. You know, you put it all, get the incident and write down all the things on why you should worry, you know, and get it out of your system and then choose how do I want to go back into it. So
there's always also something, you know, and I'm going back to the client I was coaching, which actually I think prompted some of this thought for me. And what my client had said is, I'm so worried about. And it got me thinking, you know, it's just language. It's just language.
Yeah.
It's just language. So how do you take the language and change the language instead of I'm so worried about, I'm noticing that, or what is the other? I have something to release here, or I'm attached to something that I'm not comfortable with. I mean,
something is coming in, like the weather, like we always say, let your feelings be like the weather, come and go. So thank you for joining us on this one. We're going to continue the series on joy. Subscribe, like as well, so that we can get more and more people to listen in on these, as I think they're very beneficial.
Yeah.
If anything, they're beneficial for us.
For us, really. I just really sum up. Joy is a state of being.
Yes.
You're going to worry, you're a human being. However, whatever you can do to track the worry and notice it, and is it teaching you something? And when you are worried, how do you shift either your language or your point of view that points you in the direction of the state of joy? And that will dissipate some of the worry.
Yeah. And take this lesson to your leadership teams if you have 20 minutes to do some leadership with them. Take them on the inside of their heart so that they become heart-based, humanized, intuitive leaders. Alrighty, thank you.